Put a finger down if you're 29 with 5 kids under the age of 7 and your husband told you he wants to get a divorce because you want to continue going to your family church he doesn't like, but he wants you to stay in the house for the sake of the kids and says he'll eventually start seeing other people. So he takes back the Benz that he bought you and buys you a less expensive car, and you take you and your 5 kids to go live with your dad. And now you share a room with your 5 kids trying to get your life back together because you haven't worked in 8 years because your husband told you to focus on you, your kids, and school. So now you got to learn how to be a single mom, all while your kid's dad is gaslighting you, making you feel bad for leaving the house because he says you should have stayed and saved up, even though he's going to be out doing what he wants to do.
Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Verse or Belly Dirt Channel. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload videos, you will be the first person to be notified. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and educate each and every one of us, you guys are the real MVP. So lovelies, I'm gonna be your today's host, and I have so many statistics to put up here, and we are gonna come out to talk about it. Alright lovelies, let's dive into today's video.
29 with 5 kids? Immediately no. And I'm not taking no 5 damn kids to my daddy's house. That man would have had to keep at least 4 of them. Her first mistake was going back to that damn church in the first place. Like, I'm on the husband's side with this one, because what do you mean? You go to an apostolic church where they don't believe in things that'll prevent pregnancy. And when you got pregnant with your second child, you was like, hold on now. Hold on, that's too much. But you proceed to go to said church and still believe in those things and continue to have more babies because the church said that you need to be fruitful and multiply, even though that's not something you really wanted. And now you at your daddy house, not the church house, not the church house who told you be fruitful and multiply. You at your daddy house. And why the hell are you at your daddy house? Like, you telling us that your husband make all this money and you at your dad's house trying to build yourself back up, and you haven't worked in like 8 years because he told you to stay home and focus on the things that you need to focus on. Why wasn't you saving his money? Like, come on now. Y'all give stay-at-home wives and moms a bad rep. Why weren't you saving his money? You're supposed to save money. First of all, have your own income coming in, however you do it. If you babysit, tutor, however you make your little change, save that, put it in a high yield savings account, invest it, whatever, however you choose to do it. But whenever that man is supposed to be taking care of you, not just giving you money to go to the grocery store, not just giving you money to do something for the kids. He's supposed to give you money, and you're supposed to save that money. So yeah, the whole story is a big ass no for me. We all got all of our fingers up. No.
So this woman is 29, married with 5 kids, and people got their opinions about that. But I mean, anyway, I could see if she was single with 5 kids, that probably could be, I guess, called out and looked down upon, but all I heard in the video was basically, never be a stay-at-home wife, right? Never do that. As a woman, women should always have some type of money, some type of income, because also in the video she said she ain't worked for 8 years. Now all of a sudden her husband wants a divorce. Talk about that. Her husband wants a divorce. So what's she supposed to do? She ain't worked in 8 years. And women should never be put in that position. I don't care how much a man say he love you, how much he say he gonna provide, how much he say that you ain't gonna never have to go without, any of that BS, bro. Any of that BS. Alright? Always have you some type of money. Always have you an independent bank account. Always have you something going on for your mother effing self, bro. Always. Never trust a man. Never depend on a man. Depend on God and your goddamn self.
Put a finger down if you're 29 with 5 kids under the age of 7. Mine's still up, sis. Yours still up. All right. So, sis, you might be on your own with this one. Okay? I don't know if y'all done seen it, but there's a lady on here. She says she's 29 with 5 kids under the age of 7. Her husband done came home and said, I want a divorce, but we can still be roommates. If we gonna be roommates, I'm gonna be out here doing me. I don't know what you gonna be doing, but I'm gonna be out here doing me, basically.
She said, oh, hell no, that ain't gonna work for me. So she decided to pack her and her 5 kids up, loading up in the car. Mind you, she said she used to be pushing the Benz. Now he done downgraded her to a less expensive car. So she took that, went on back to her daddy house. Now her and her 5 kids, they sharing the bedroom at her daddy house. She said she ain't worked in 8 years, but she finna get back to it. And apparently she didn't even want 5 kids, but she was just so heavily involved in her faith and in the church that they don't believe, and they believe in whatever is given to you, it is a blessing. So she kept them. I'm assuming, I think her husband is a pastor, but he want a divorce. And I don't know, I may be wrong, but if you already getting a divorce, you might have been already doing the do. But y'all didn't hear that from me. Okay.
Put a finger down if you're 29 with 5 kids under the age of 7 and your husband told you he wants to get a divorce. He wants you to stay in the house for the sake of the kids and says he'll eventually start seeing other people. You take you and your 5 kids to go live with your dad, trying to get your life back together because you haven't worked in 8 years because your husband told you to focus on you, your kids, and school. So now you got to learn how to be a single mom even though he's going to be out doing what he wants to do.
A few days ago, I made a video about this guy who said he was disgusted by the idea that there are women out there who wanted to have their own jobs, who wanted to make their own money. He said that it feels like they're trying to prepare for the event that their man will leave them. And he's like, if you just cook and clean and do whatever you're told, you wouldn't have to worry about a man leaving you. And that's why I said this. Some men will tell you that they'll always love you and they'll always take care of you. But the minute they don't, or the minute they have found your replacement, all of a sudden the house is mine, the car is mine, everything in the 401k is mine. Here she is with no credit history, no rental history, no money, no savings account, no credit cards. She'll have to accept an entry level or minimum wage position because she hasn't worked and she has no experience. Where she is exactly where he wanted her. This was systematic and methodical. He waited until she had 5 of his kids and no way to just go ahead and leave him to be like, and now I'm getting ready to start dating other people and doing whatever I want. He wanted her to be desperate, so desperate in fact, that she would consider letting him cheat so that she could afford to take care of her children. They are well aware that they're putting you and your children in a vulnerable position. They're not worried about you or those kids. They want you to believe that you don't truly love them if you have a plan B. Meanwhile, they have a plan B, C, D. You've never known a version of that man who isn't in love with you. But girl, when he's not...
Put a finger down if you're 29 with 5 kids under the age of 7 and your husband told you he wants to get a divorce because you want to continue going to your family church he doesn't like. He wants you to stay in the house for the sake of the kids and says he'll eventually start seeing other people. So he takes back the Benz that he bought you and buys you a less expensive car, and you take you and your 5 kids to go live with your dad. And now you share a room with your 5 kids trying to get your life back together because you haven't worked in 8 years because your husband told you to focus on you, your kids, and school. So now you got to learn how to be a single mom, all while your kid's dad is gaslighting you, making you feel bad for leaving the house because he says you should have stayed and saved up even though he's going to be out doing what he wants to do.
Whew. Now that is a lot. And I just want to say, let's work backwards. He said you should have stayed living with him while he was seeing other people and saved up. I get why you wouldn't want that arrangement. Back up again though. You've been at home for 8 years and he told you to focus on yourself and school. That's interesting. We still working backwards. He sold your Benz and bought you a cheaper car. I don't get why that is important. If y'all are breaking up and he's still letting you he's still paying for that transportation. Okay, hear me out. You gotta let him share some of the responsibility of those children. You also have to take some accountability of the fact that the last 8 years, you've kept having babies. And I don't know if you got your degree in those last 8 years. I'm just saying 8 years, if you did a semester a year, I think you'll have your degree by now. Depending on the credit anyway. At least you could be what is it, CPN or whatever. I'm gonna be real. This sounds like a really calm breakup. He's saying you ain't gotta move out and pay your own shit and move with your mom and daddy, but he can't. He going date. That's fucked up. That nigga sound kind of crazy. I ain't gonna lie. But I just want to lay it out. So he's saying y'all broke up. You can stay there. He gonna keep paying all the bills. You should have been saving up while he was paying all the bills. Woo, man, that's a tough one. I know you were taking care of the kids. I know, but he was paying all the bills and paying for you to go to school. Oh man. And last but not least, what the fuck is you telling us for? What is you telling us for? Man, give him them kids half the time and get your shit together.
So I just finished watching the video of the girl who's 29 with 5 kids under the age of 7. No judgment to her at all, because I am a mom as well and I understand specific struggles. But one thing that I want to highlight is she did mention that, you know, she's Christian or her husband is in ministry or something of that nature, and he decided that he wanted to leave, and now she's living as a single mom in her father's house or something of that nature. One of the things that we need to understand about religion is that religion and the social construct of marriage is really stealing a lot of young women's future. I'm talking about women with bright futures, because they believe that they are doing their due diligence or honoring God by being married. A lot of people follow the scripture, men, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. So these men are literally scouting out women, and women, because they're trained under ministry, they're trained in church, not how to date, but to be picked. So a lot of them are waiting for these men, and they're literally marrying quickly without really knowing these people, without choosing, because a lot of church culture, they influence women that it is an honor for them to be chosen, instead of teaching women, no, you do the picking. But no, these systems of hierarchy are teaching women that a man chooses you. And then they're laying down their futures, their whole entire lives, their bright career, everything about themselves in order to follow this system and please men. Do you know how many women I see under the religious institutions who are marrying and then they're getting divorced within a year? And they literally have said that God told them to marry this person. God told them that this is their husband. This is religious psychosis. It is literally ruining the futures of women for mediocre men. And this is not an attack on marriage. This is an attack on a system that repeatedly has women shrink themselves to being a helpmate for men. Now she's stuck with 5 kids as a single mom. You know how hard it is to be a single mom? Like, it is sad. And that's not what she signed up for, I'm pretty sure. It is sad. But we have to call out the system, and it is religion.
You with nothing, and you took the kids? So you're telling me you had 5 kids by this man before the age of 30. He decided to divorce you, and you decided to take all 5 kids with you? And now you're living in a one bedroom situation with all 5 of your kids while he's still living in your house. He couldn't take one of the kids? And now you made the video, right? To out him to the world. And now you're making follow-up videos calling him a good husband and good father. He's a good father, but he left you and your 5 kids. You do not have your own income, mind you. He left you and your 5 kids in a 1-bedroom situation with your parents, whatever. Left you there, and he's staying in your house. And you're still coming to the internet to make excuses for him, even though he told you not to work, to focus on school and taking care of your kids for X amount of years. And now you haven't been employed, so you have to navigate how to take care of yourself. I'm trying to do the fucking math. I'm trying to add this shit. First of all, how did you even have 5 kids? You talked about the first 2. You said that your church doesn't allow birth control. Okay, you can track your cycle. Let's not be dense. Every woman should know how her body functions. All of this was preventable. You want to be submissive to your husband. So you've been submissive. You've been letting him do things inside of you. And now you have 5 of his kids. And you gonna let that nigga dump all of them off on you? And now you're trying to also convince the internet that you're not sad, you're not mad, you're not angry, but you posted a story time about what the fuck he did, and now you're telling the whole world that you a single mom with 5 kids. Did you come here because this is how you wanted to make some money? You thought you was gonna monetize the story while simultaneously keeping a good reputation for your ex-husband? Do you want us to hate him or not?
And why the fuck don't he have none of the kids? He could at least take 3, 4, keep you with one. If you feel so inclined to keep one, keep the baby. I'm sorry. That man would have them kids. There is no single mother by choice. He can be a single father. He initiated the divorce. I'm just gonna be single. He left you with nothing, and you
That 29-year-old woman with the 5 kids under the age of 7, I want to point out something in all of the word salad that she told us. She said after she had her first child, her and her husband were having intercourse, and she knew that she was ovulating. She knew that it was that time of the month. She asked him not to finish inside of her because she did not want to have another baby. She asked her husband not to finish inside of her because she did not want to have another baby. That was after baby number 1. And now, after 5 kids, and after he has sucked up her entire 20s, he is leaving her. She said that she allowed him to do it because she wanted to be submissive. Because according to their religious doctrine, that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. They also subscribe to gender roles and gender norms. So now that y'all are going to get a divorce, and as much as she claimed like, oh, he wants 50-50, who do you think is going to shoulder the burden of the 5 kids? I want y'all to let that sink in. She did not want more kids. She knew she was ovulating. She asked her husband not to finish inside of her. He said, So she let it happen. And because she's a part of a church that does not believe in doing anything to prevent pregnancy, she is 29 with 5 kids. And her husband is leaving her. Mind you, she does not want a divorce. She does not want her marriage to end. He does. After he pumped her with 5 kids. I want you to let that sink in the next time you think to yourself, there's this thing this man wants me to do, and I don't really want to do it. And you think to yourself, but I need to be a good wife. I need to be a dutiful wife. I need to submit to my husband and my husband's will. Ask yourself, how are you going to feel if the relationship ends? Are you going to feel like this is something I also wanted to do? No. We're not talking, making him a sandwich. We're talking about making him a baby that you don't fucking want. Stop doing shit that you don't want to do for men, and especially when it's things that you are going to be left carrying.
Put a finger down if you're 29 with 5 kids under the age of 7 and your husband told you he wants to get a divorce because you want to continue going to your family church he doesn't like, but he wants you to stay in the house for the sake of the kids and says he'll eventually start seeing other people. So he takes back the Benz that he bought you and buys you a less expensive car, and you take you and your 5 kids to go live with your dad. And now you share a room with your 5 kids trying to get your life back together because you haven't worked in 8 years because your husband told you to focus on you, your kids, and school. So now you got to learn how to be a single mom, all while your kid's dad is gaslighting you, making you feel bad for leaving the house because he says you should have stayed and saved up, even though he's going to be out doing what he wants to do.
You know what really made this whole situation sad and worse is that she come on this internet not really brag about it, but she just confessing to the whole world about what's going on in her life, what make her feel. I mean, first of all, sweetheart, you gotta learn to take that accountability and figure your life out, because no man is gonna waste their energy and time to invest all into you if you're not even investing to yourself. This is not how fucking life works, I'm 24 years old. I don't have kids. I'm focusing on bigger picture. I'm trying to help myself as a man, grow as a man. then we talk about shits more into life, you know. That's how I look at things, you know. And I don't want to come off like I'm bragging on it. It's just like people. I took the time to learn. I took the time to embrace myself as a man. Who am I to figure out certain things where I could elevate out there? Life is hard as fuck, you know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, he divorced you. Now you living with your parents. Now you sharing a room with 5 kids. Come on now. This is where life gonna hit everybody right there. We gotta learn to stop being irresponsible. Cause you should have been working on yourself from the moment you met this nigga, from the moment that you about to get married, from the moment you about to have 5 fucking kids. You should have been already have everything in order. Where you shouldn't be backwards and waste time. And by making a man telling you gotta work on yourself, he's gonna find another option somewhere else. Sometimes y'all women out there gotta blame y'all fucking self, man. Y'all just the same one come on the internet complaining 24/7. Instead of y'all work on yourself, stop coming on the internet and confessing about shit. We can't help y'all. We're not therapists. Alright? Alright, man. Like the video, repost the video, and I'm out, y'all. Pooh Shiesty Mass in the building. I'm out. It's really fucking cold outside. That's why, sweetheart, another thing to learn to make a man take responsibility too. Stop making a man throwing everything on you, cause that's what you're doing. You letting this nigga throwing everything on you while he's out there making option baby with somebody else. Come on now, you don't have no. You know what? I mean, yeah. You got the point. But yeah, listen, man, we gotta stop fucking around and creating broken homes. We gotta stop creating these type of issues where this is what really proved the whole point of life, where we can't be going out there rushing things, thinking that we know everything. No, you don't, nigga. Just let life live on. Let life flow. Let love flow itself, you know. Sometimes I feel like us people, we force this shit and then we put us in a bad predicament of us fucking us our own life up. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, pretty much, man. Like the video, repost the video, man. Fellas, be careful, man. Shit is real out here. Ladies, be careful out here. Shit is real out here. You feel me? You being with one person could just fuck your whole life up. I'm telling you. Remember that.
So, this is part 1 of how I became a single mom.
Oh, go lady. Listen, I'm a big advocate for women, especially black women. I have a black daughter, black wife. Part of my business is dedicated to women overall. I have 4 ambassadors that are women. That's besides the point. At the end of the day, you women got to start coming up here with all these emotion and get your story straight, right? Because at the end of the day, either your husband is a bad husband and a bad father, or he's a good husband, he's a good father. There is no in between. There are women right now that have to decide whether to leave a man and do right for their family or try to make it work. There are women right now that are getting abused. There are women right now that are getting taken advantage of. There are people all over the world getting taken advantage of. And you are coming up here with an issue and you're not making it clear, you're not making it straight. You're giving us this narrative. You're painting a picture on how this man was in the church, this and that. Y'all had 5 kids, 29. You're not a single mom. Like, we have to stop that, right? You're not a single mom. The father is in your kid's life. You even said on your video that he's a great father, great, takes care of them, great father. And then you also say you can say that he's a great husband. There are women right now that can't even get in contact with their baby daddies. Like, and to me, it seems like you're very articulate in your nature. Us as people got to start coming on social media just spewing our business. Because we can't get upset when the narrative gets swapped. You brought it to the internet. Everything that's like, I'm so tired of women. I'm so tired of women bringing their issues to the internet. And then when the world judges you, now you're in more mental cripple decline. You brought it upon yourself. Now you can't eat, sleep. Now you can't take care of your children. You brought it upon yourself. Stop getting on social media. Stop getting on the internet and telling your business to the world. People that you don't know who is going to see your video when you post it public. You don't know who is going to see your video. Your boss can see it. Your mom can see it. Your daddy can see it. Your biggest op can see it. And use that for your downfall because you are emotional. Stop doing that. Either your husband is a bad person, bad guy, this and that, or he's a good person, this and that. It sounds like you're trying to come to the internet with you sound like an Aisha Curry. You're coming to the internet complaining about a problem when we really don't know what the problem is. Like, 29 with 5 kids, not a bad thing. Like, you're married. Like, when you're married, you can do that. But you're not a single mom. The guy said, you said he's still in the kid's life. You still have help. Even when y'all divorced, God forbid, because I'm a very religious person. When it comes to my marriage, I give everything to God. We don't have to worry about trying to divorce, because we give it to God. We'll let God handle our issues. That's how me and my wife do it. But this man is asking you for a divorce, right? He's not saying that he's going to allow you to be on the kids with your own. Like, that's not being a single mom. Like, it just pisses me off, bro, because y'all, why are you on this internet, and what are you talking about? I'm so confused. You're talking about the cater, the Warner Robins, you want to go back to church with your family. Like, how does any of this correlate with you and your family? Like, why did you think that this needs to be brought out of the dress? Especially if you're talking about raised in a church home, Christian home. We do not bring our problems to the internet. There are wandering eyes. There are evil eyes. There are lurking eyes. There are spectator spirits. If you grew up in the church, you should understand this. What you are doing right now, if you ever see this video, what you are doing, you are causing these enemies, you calling these spirits into your home, into your marriage, into your livelihood, into your children. Because once you speak publicly into the world, all that stuff can come back on you. Be mindful of what you say and be an adult.
You know, it always amazes me how some people can live their whole lives based on what a church says and then get mad at the outcome that the church basically predicted for them. Like, we are talking about a 29-year-old woman with 5 kids sitting at her daddy's house talking about how life got hard. 5 kids at 29. You know how wide that sounds? You got people in their 30s who can barely keep a plant alive, and she's talking about managing 5 human beings. Now, let's really talk about this situation, because it's deeper than just a woman with a bunch of kids. This is about accountability, conditioning, and the way religion has gripped on people's decision making, especially in the black community. She says she went to an apostolic church, and I already knew where this was going. If you know anything about apostolic churches, they are strict. They are the kind that will tell you that wearing earrings is a sin and that contraception is the devil's tool. So you already know that kind of environment this woman was in. No birth control, no family planning, just faith, fertility, and frustration. And the part that kills me is that she admitted she didn't even want all those kids. She literally said by the second one she was like, hold on, this is too much. But she stayed in that same church, the same one that told her to be fruitful and multiply, the same one that told her it's a woman's duty to submit, serve, and bear children like it's a spiritual competition. Now, she's at her daddy's house, not the church house, not the husband house, her daddy's house. The part hit hard for a lot of people because it exposes something most flocks don't like to admit, that being blindly religious without applying common sense will have you making life decisions that God never even signed off on. Let's call it what it is. The man she married told her to stay home. She listened. She told her to focus on the household. She did that for 8 good years. She said she hadn't worked in almost a decade. So when everything fell apart, when the relationship broke down, she had nothing to fall back on. No savings, no side hustle, no personal stability, just 5 kids and a father's house. That is the part that got the internet reacting, because people are saying, why didn't she save? Why didn't she have a backup plan? Why did she allow a man and a church to dictate every financial and reproductive decision in her life? And it's not even about judging her, it's about seeing the pattern. We have seen this over and over again. Young women being told stay at home, don't worry about working, be a good wife. Then one day the marriage ends, the man walks away, and she's left with a handful of children and no income. I have seen comments saying she should have been saving his money, and honestly I agree. Every stay-at-home mom needs to treat her household like a business. That man's income is your operating budget, not your identity. You take your allowances, your groceries money, whatever you can, and you stack something for yourself, because security isn't love, it's preparation. Now let's talk about the church part, because that is the real root of this. The church loves to preach about being fruitful and multiplying, but they never help you pay for pampers. They will tell you to have a full quiver. that children are blessings, but they won't tell you how financially sustain those blessings in a modern world where rent costs more than faith. It's why that people still let these outdated doctrines run their lives. You have got leaders who quote verses from ancient texts, yet yet them themselves are living comfortably, childless, or funded by tithes. Meanwhile, their congregation is drowning in bills, debt, and diaper duty, all because of God will provide. And when things fall apart, the same church that encouraged the lifestyle is nowhere to be found. The same spiritual family that told you to submit and multiply will ghost you faster than your baby daddy when you ask for milk money. Let's not ignore the husband in this story though, because while people are bashing the wife, the man had a role too. He's the one who wanted the stay-at-home setup. He's the one who said, "Don't worry about working." But a real provider doesn't just take care of his wife physically. He sets her up to stable mentally and financially. If you're a man making all this money like she's claimed, and your woman ends up broke and homeless after leaving you, that means you failed as a husband. Period. Because providing isn't just about bills. It's about creating a safety net. You don't tell someone to depend on you and then pull the rug from under them. And I think this story hits people differently because it mirrors what is happening in a lot of homes today. We have this outdated belief that marriage automatically means security. But security without autonomy is just comfortable slavery. If you don't have your own, if you are one argument away from homelessness, let's be real. She represents a lot of women who follow the traditional path thinking it will lead to peace. You meet a man in the church, get married young, start having kids back to back, stay home to please God and him and God. And then one day life hits you with dose of reality. Because love don't pay the bills and submission doesn't equal stability. Now let's talk about this narrative that men should provide and women should just nurture. That is a myth that doesn't work anymore. Not in 2025, not in this economy. The cost of living alone demands that both people in a household have financial literacy, not just spiritual devotion. And yet the church keeps preaching the same outdated formula like we are still living in the 1940s. Back then, one income could buy a house and feed a family of six. Now, one income can barely cover groceries. So, how do you keep telling women to stay home and depend on their husbands, knowing full well that men are losing jobs left and right, and the economy doesn't care about your faith? People don't want to talk about this, but religion has become a control tool. It tells women to be quiet, be humble, be fruitful, but it never teaches them how to be smart. It glorifies submission, not never talk about self-preservation. And let's talk about what is really sad here. The generational cycle of these creates. Her kids are going to grow up watching that instability. They will see a mother who did everything right according to the church and still end up struggling. That teaches them confusion, not faith. Because when your reality doesn't match what religion promised, your children grow up doubting both God and themselves. We have got to start redefining what it means to be obedient. Obedience doesn't mean ignorance. Obedience doesn't mean you shut off your brain and let tradition lead you into a ditch. True obedience is listening to wisdom, and wisdom says plan your life, protect yourself, and prepare for the unknown. Now, if you are being honest, this woman's situation is the casual tale of model women womanhood. It's what happens when faith and fantasy collide with financial reality. It's what happens when you let doctrine override these sentiments. The sad part is she's not alone. There are thousands of women sitting in churches right now being told to trust God when what they really need is to trust a financial advisor. And I'm not even anti-church. I'm just saying if your faith keeps you poor, stressed, and dependent, that is not faith, that is manipulation. I think the reason why so many black people reacted so strongly to this story is because it exposes our community's biggest wound, the lack of generational planning. We keep inheriting struggle like it's a birthright. Our grandmothers struggle, our mothers struggle, and now our daughters are struggling in the name of submission and loyalty. We have got to break that. You can have faith and still have a saving account. You can pray and still plan. You can love God and still get birth control. These things are not opposite, they are balanced. So when I look at this woman's story, 29 with 5 kids, no career, no income, no independency, I don't just see a bad decision, I see a system that failed her. A belief system, a social system, a financial system, and most of all, a family system that probably didn't teach her the power of personal ownership. Because if your whole sense of worth depends on being someone's life or someone's mother, then what happens when that identity collapses? That is why so many people end up broken. They built their lives around a person instead of purpose, around a doctrine instead of direction. This story isn't just about a woman who made mistakes, it's about an entire community that glorifies self sacrifice but never teaches self sufficiency. And if we don't start having honest conversations about that, more women are going to end up just like her at their dad's house, 5 kids deep, wondering where it all went wrong.
And if you watched up to this extent, don't forget to please leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational and informative purposes. So lovelies, why not just share your thought? Subscribe to this channel if you're yet to do that, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.